you're a young artist trying to get up, you need to find new and exciting ways to really get your name up and get out there and really stretch your supply budget. Because you know what? I was you too. I was you too. All that stuff you guys are going through, I went through that. And I feel you, homie. I really do. And I was giving it some thought this week because, well, I've kind of become my own enemy. So I've been doing a lot of tagging on this board and buffing it, tagging, buffing it, and tagging it, and buffing it. And pretty soon I end up with all these piles of ink-soaked rags. And I was like, you know, instead of throwing those rags away, why don't we try harvesting the dyes and the resins and all the other goobly gobbly bits mixed in together and see if we can make some ink out of it. Because I think as a young artist, you got to be creative. You got to be forward thinking. All right, guys, so the process is really easy. All you have to do is find the right type of solvent that you need to dissolve into these towels to make your ink. Now, finding the right solvent is a bit of a process because you need to know what you're working with. Not all inks will mix with each other, which you've probably figured out in your experiments. You've probably had a few ink mixtures curdle up on you, and you know what? It's happened to me too. It's pretty normal. So to start out easy, if you're a beginning writer, probably just stick with 91% isopropyl alcohol. This will mix with most alcohol-based inks, and if you make like a pen ink, you know, like a ghetto pen ink, this will mix with that as well too. And this will soak out a lot of that pigment out of these towels. But if you want something a little bit more hardcore, you know, for example, if you're using like oil-based paints, you can dissolve them in acetone. Now, acetone is miscible. It mixes with a lot of different other solvents, and you can find that it's a very versatile solvent to use, but it is for professional use only, so only use it if you are a professional. The other one is denatured alcohol, which don't get confused with isopropyl, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds with it, but basically, this is a very, very good solvent and very versatile solvent. And what's really cool is you can mix these together because acetone does evaporate much quicker, and a 50-50 mix of these two works pretty good. But hey, experiment, try a bunch of different stuff out, see what works for you. You know, everything's different. You know, what's in a uni marker isn't the same thing that's in the Sol Tip paint. You know, they are different. This work really well. This will actually mix into this, but you know, I wouldn't mix Sol Tip paint with Rusto. I mean, you could try it. I mean, maybe it works, but you're probably asking for trouble. And no, I haven't tried every single ink mixture out there. I'm a busy guy. I'm a busy guy. But that's the fun of graffiti. You guys need to experiment and figure out what works for you. I'm just giving you a couple quick tips to get you on your way. Okay, so we have 91% isopropyl alcohol, we have denatured alcohol, and we have acetone. Of course, we have GR's bathwater right here, which is a solvent too. Water is a solvent, especially my bathwater. It's a little dirty. I don't know what's going on with that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. I know you guys want to see this happen. So let's go ahead and take our jar here. And this is a regular mason jar. I would prefer one that's a little bit bigger, but this is just what I happened to have in my office yesterday when I was setting up this project. So this is what we're working with. So let's take a little bit of acetone here. And again, you can use 91% if you want. You can use any one of these. But I'm going to take a little acetone, fill it about halfway. Hopefully I don't spill it. Get it about halfway full. All right, let's just double check here. Yeah, it's about halfway full. Okay, all right guys, now let's add the denatured alcohol to this. Make sure it's nice and full. All right, shove that bad boy. Wow, look at that. It's already starting to make a really nice color. So quickly. Beautiful. Okay, so remember, this is going to be less concentrated than your ink that's going to come out of here. You're just recycling stainer essentially, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to be as opaque, but hey, baller on a budget, why not? So let's go ahead and get this shaken up and set this aside. Just like that. And guess what? Like a good cooking show, I already have one ready. Sitting from yesterday. Look at that. All right. So what we're going to need to do, this is going to be a little bit difficult. I need another container. I'll be right back. Like I said, don't do this on your mom's couch. She will be very angry. And actually, I recommend getting a better pair of gloves than the one I'm wearing right now. Like, get those heavy duty, like, industrial gloves, because look, boom, already through them. There we go. Much better gloves. Okay, so make sure you get all the towels nice and squeezed so you can get all that beautiful, beautiful purple juice out of those bottles. All right, guys, let's go ahead and start filling this mop up with some of this ink so we can see what it looks like. As you can see, we got a beautiful shade of blue, and I'm making a mess all over the place here. Okay, perfect. All right, let's get this mop ready to go. Now, this is just a stainer mixture, right? So on its own, it's probably gonna be a little bit on the transparent side, but what's really good about this is mixing it with other inks. So for example, this pink Solvent paint, which we're gonna pour in here, and let's see if I make a mess, which I'm very famous for. Okay, so we'll fill that up about halfway. All right, now let's take our ink stainer, pour some of that in there. There we go. Perfect. All right, so that's going to give the Solvent paint a little bit more flow and a little bit more staining ability. Stretch it out, if you will, and it's probably going to make a really cool color too, which I can't wait to see. Let's do this.
Like mail.
Let's go ahead and give the ink a shot first. As you can see, it's very, very drippy. But it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. It's going to be a little bit more transparent than your regular ink, but we actually harvested some ink out of towels, and that's amazing. Now, I could probably use some of my ink thickener on this to help it out, but if you just want to do some damage, I think this will work just fine in the Burger King bathroom. I am the buff man, the buff man, the buff man is me. I am the buff man, buffing everything I see. I am the buff man, buffing all your graffiti. I am the buff man, I am the buff man. Somebody has to be me. As the people say, buffing ain't easy. It's a hard job, man. All right, let's go ahead and get another towel. And you know what? I know exactly where this is going. Right over there. Let's get. Oh, look at that. Shining right through. All right, so after this, we'll go ahead and try out the other one. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with what it looks like. See you in a second. So let's do a buff man. Say what's up to the buff man again. I just think it's funny. People get mad about the buff. I'm like, yo, he serves a purpose. Everybody needs a purpose in life, right? Your purpose is to keep them employed. As you can see, you are getting a really nice mixture. It's very, very runny, so maybe I would probably use a little bit less of the stainer mixture, maybe more of like a 75 to 25 mix, which I've said in previous videos. But it's fun to just kind of get something really flowy and really juicy for illustrative purposes, so you can see the potential of the drips. It's quite nice. It is quite nice. Look, this is a piece of art right here. I've made a piece of art. I tried to buy Cornhub URL as a joke, but whoever owns it won't sell it for less than $485,000. Oh, I'm dripping ink on my shoe. That's fantastic. Let's flip this over. So I don't think I'll be buying Cornhub anytime soon. But anyways, as you can see, we were able to get a beautiful purple stainer out of all of that trash paper and add it to our mops. Isn't that cool? guys, there you go. You just learned how to make an ink mixture out of some empty rags and some solvents. Now you can add some stainer to go, recycle your ink, or just have a little fun experimenting and trying new things. Make sure you get some heavy duty gloves like I didn't. If you have any questions, suggestions, or ideas, be sure to comment below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel because it's very important to get our name out there. Also, if you ever want any graph supplies, be sure to hit up artprimo.com, 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 the #1 source for all things graffiti. Thank you. Aren't we all buff men? Isn't that what graffiti is? Making a big buff and then outlining it? Aren't we the buff man ourselves?